think one of the issues that Manchester has at the minute is that the transport system in the city is so disparate. There's no consistency in the different parts of the city that you live in. So in South Manchester, you've got good bus routes, you've got good tram connections, you've got good rail connections. Where in the north of Manchester, everything's a little bit less secure. There's some. If you're on the tram line, you're lucky. If you're not, and you've got to rely on the bus services, they're not as efficient as they are in the south of Manchester. So bringing in a system that will fundamentally change how buses and rail and trams operate in Manchester could fundamentally change the city in terms of how it operates on an employment level. So I think providing that opportunity for people to rely on transport to get into a city centre is so important.
Transport enables so much for any major city and region. It creates jobs, it creates housing, it creates social cohesion. So the B network will integrate buses, trams, and later on trains alongside active travel facilities to enable everybody to make the best use of public transport and active travel facilities across the Greater Manchester region. As a core part of that, bus franchising is happening right now, and that will happen in 3 tranches. With the first tranche, that's the bus network serving Bolton and Wigan, moving over in April 2023 to the franchise system. And that's going to enable us to radically improve the bus system with better buses, with greater facilities. And it will integrate everything. It will have affordable fares with integrated ticketing to make it easier to access with daily fare caps, and all of the sorts of things that people in London are actually very used to. So infrastructure and high quality places are absolutely central to the development of any modern city and modern urban region. And the Mayor and the leaders of Greater Manchester have done a fantastic job in redeveloping the city. And you can see cranes everywhere around Manchester, and not just in central Manchester, in the boroughs all around the region. And what great infrastructure delivers are places people want to be, places people want to live in, work in, have fun in. And as we can see from, we're here in King's Cross in London today, and there's just so much that has been regenerated directly from the regeneration of the public transport system and the infrastructure around that. So infrastructure is so vital because it creates the places people want to be.
This is being put into practice by our friends over at the MEPC.
So we're currently out for consultation on 2 and 3 Angel Square ahead of submitting a planning application. 2 and 3 Angel Square will follow the mould of 4 Angel Square, where we set a benchmark of BREEAM Outstanding and Neighbours 5-star in operational performance. That's working with tenants to reduce that energy consumption through operation. It's a minimum benchmark that we want to build upon going forward, and it's really the Federated Hermes International and MEPC ways to keep pushing those boundaries in responsible property investment and development to ensure that we're always at the forefront of these next generation buildings coming forward, because ultimately it's the right thing to do, and it's the right thing for the planet, it's the right thing for Manchester, and we believe it's the right thing for our tenants.
In Greater Manchester, the population has grown by 7% in the last decade and is due to continue to grow at that rate. There are 1.5 million jobs in Greater Manchester, and that's due to grow by about 11% over the next period. So this is a growing region, a growing, thriving region, and effective, efficient, safe and reliable public transport and active travel facilities are going to be key to enabling that, to making that happen, to attracting in more investment and getting people to where they need to be efficiently, affordably and seamlessly.
Getting those connections into the city centre will help businesses it'll help individuals more importantly, and it will help the regional centres be better connected on a more consistent basis with the city centre. That access to talent we're finding from the businesses that we're speaking to is paramount at the moment, and to attract their talent, to retain the talent, can only be enhanced by a better transport infrastructure.
Developments have sort of evolved over time. I mean, you go back to one of the first regeneration schemes that happened whilst I was in Manchester, is around spinning fields, and that development sort of took time to create. It was a big hit of offices and created that sort of London feel of a sort of a major city centre with big shiny glass offices. And as an employment place, it worked really well at first, but what they didn't get right was some of the amenity took time. And really successful developments to me are all about the place and the environment. Spinning Fields became that successful scheme for me when the Oast House was built, and it created an environment that people wanted to be in, and it changed perceptions of the area, and suddenly that sterile weekend environment that Spinning Fields was known for a decade and a half ago changed, and it created the environment that the Ivy wanted to invest in, and now you go to Spinning Fields on a weekend and it's massively successful.
So we act for clients on schemes across the country, whether it be large-scale town, city centre, regen projects, or out-of-town garden villages, business parks. And there's always a different level of investment and requirements for infrastructure, but it's always the key priority of the developer and often the local authority to ensure that infrastructure is in place at the right times throughout the development of that scheme. If you look at places like Salford Quays, that just demonstrates the transformational impact that infrastructure can have. In the 1990s, the Metro link was extended out to Salford Quays, and from there what we've seen is the development of Media City, and today, 20 years on, you're looking at what is a vibrant, bustling hub for business, for employment, and also for residents.
But to ensure all these new travel connections are used to their fullest, the information needs to be made easily accessible.
People want to see progress and innovation. They want to be able to use a contactless payment card to just tap and go. And they want apps that give them that information about where their bus is or where their train is. So they're the three things really: safe, frequent and reliable services, value for money, and also progress and innovation to enable the network to be more accessible to more people.
An example of this would be the new developments in North Manchester.
So Noma has all the ingredients for a 15-minute city. It's an incredibly well-connected neighbourhood with the bus interchange and Manchester Victoria. It has superb open space and public realm. It has a great residential offer with new developments happening down the Oak Valley. It obviously has best-in-class next-generation offices coming online that sit alongside the listed estates that have been lovingly refurbished. It also has a fantastic entertainment offer, with being close to the Arndale and the Printworks, Ancoats and the Northern Quarter. And we also have New Century Hall coming online later this year, which again will be a game changer for Noma in terms of that play aspect of the live, work and play.
I think infrastructure and better transport services are so important because they enable everything about people's lives. Their leisure time, getting to and from work, getting to school, getting to hospital. So there's just so much that transport enables.